Hello again. In this video, video 6, and the last of the Workbook webinar, a series of videos, and having considered all 4 financial building blocks now in turn, Bob and Jane now pulled these together to create some financial options integrating all 4 building blocks: housing needs, income needs, their children's needs, and retirement needs. As they prepare for the first mediation joint session, they acknowledge that they may each have taken different perspectives and priorities whilst completing their workbook, differing in how they have applied the principles and their priorities and factors to their circumstances. Therefore, as they approach mediation, having completed their housing options, income options, and so on, having pulled these together and looking at financial options, and as they approach mediation, they do their best to keep an open, humble, because they each accept that they haven't got all the answers, and exploratory mindset, ready to discuss and explore and expand their thinking and approach together to create options in mediation. So what do these options they've come up with look like? Well, option 1, and I call them options because I haven't connected them yet to Bob and Jane. I don't want to polarize the process. These are options for them both to discuss. First one relates to selling the house, dividing the proceeds and buying 2 3-bedroom properties, dividing pensions to create equal pension and retirement, and a clean break. And Jane believes that this should all not include her rental property. And Bob believes that he will need more of the sale proceeds to buy a similar property because, of course, he's got a lower borrowing capacity, a much lower income. They'll need to use the mediated discussions when it comes to mediation with me to discuss and explore this option if they want to decide what division of the assets would be fair if they went ahead with this option. The other option they're talking about, option 2, in this option, the family home would be transferred to Jane, taking over the mortgage and buying out Bob's share. Bob uses the capital he receives from Jane, I think about the £300,000 we talked about, to buy himself a property with his own borrowing capacity and a bit of pension offsetting to create a fair capital division and a clean break. Again, Jane believes an equal division of capital would be fair on the making of the consent order. She believes an equal division of capital would be fair in pensions. Bob believes that if Jane wants a clean break, i.e. no maintenance, he should receive more of the capital in view of the different incomes and borrowing capacities. And again, they'll need to discuss their different views and how they've come to them using their workbooks in mediation. Option 3 is similar to option 1 we've talked about, which is the selling of the family home and dividing to buy 2 3-bedroom properties. But in this option 3, there would be a limited period of maintenance for Bob to reflect the different standards of living, unless, of course, from Bob's point of view, he receives enough of the capital and an equal division to achieve a fair outcome. And option 4 is similar to option 2 above, transfer the house to Jane, but with a limited period of maintenance again for Bob to reflect different standards of living, unless again he receives more of the capital to achieve a fair outcome. So those are the options Bob and Jane have come up with so far, representing their current thinking before they hit mediation to discuss with the mediator. So in summary, by maintaining an open, flexible mindset, an honest, transparent approach to financial disclosure, using the financial options model and workbook, following the 7 steps I've talked about, Bob and Jane were able to create some options to bring into mediation, giving them the added competence and confidence, what I talk about as agency here, to work on creating a solution together, to feel comfortable enough to work together. That's the connection part, if you like, based on reasoned, well thought out, structured options represented in their workbooks. In this case, they resisted the temptation of trying to reach an agreement for themselves before mediation because they didn't feel that they had enough information, support, or understanding of the law, and believed that in doing so, their communication might become strained, polarized, and risk undermining a carefully managed, facilitated joint decision-making process in mediation. And you remember in the webinar, I mentioned and emphasized that they were still living together, and that was creating a bit of a strain. So I think they made the right decision. So finally, final slide. Thanks very much for sticking with me during this webinar. I hope you found it helpful. So if, like Bob and Jane, you are separating and wanting to reach a fair financial agreement at minimum cost, let us know at Compass Resolution Mediation and Coaching. You can contact us through this website, www.compass-resolution.com. Thanks for watching, and good luck.